All right, everybody, it looks like we are good to go, so let's head over to TempestMask1000 for Gunstar Heroes Any Percent Easy. Take it away.
Friends and fellow gamers, my name is Tempest. Some of you know me as Steve, and I'm wonderful today, this morning, doing one... I completely botched my first sentence. Okay, let's try that one more time. I hope you all are having a wonderful day so far, and more importantly, I hope everybody's enjoying some nice sunny weather like I am over here in the East Coast, and all that good jazz. Thank you all for having me back. This is going to be my second and last run for the event schedule, and this will be Gunstar Heroes, a absolute certified classic run and gun by the developer known as Treasure. For those who don't know, this is a team of developers that originally started from Konami and decided to go off to do their own thing, as enough iconic developers may very well do. You may know them for their other works beyond this one, such as the Sin and Punishment games. They've also actually worked with Konami to do things like Galaga 5, I believe it's called. I believe it was, if not Galaga 4. I think it was Galaga 4. It shows what I know. And then, aside from that, they've also done games as well. Like, man, why is their repertoire actually fleeing my mind right now? I literally own some of them. No, trust me though, Treasure has also made some wonderful games, like even a McDonald's Treasure Hunter Quest, whatever it's called. Yeah, let's just go on to the run itself, because I'm already hamming my intro way horribly than I hoped to. So, a couple of house rules, or notes rather. This is going to be run on a Sega Genesis Mini. This is a special little mini console that is officially licensed by Sega and does have games like this available for it. The community is obviously very open to original hardware or even emulators or ports of this game and all that jazz, and we'll be running this game on the easy difficulty, which means my melee attacks will be beefed up to heck. So you'll see how that plays out pretty soon, but for now, we'll get things started, and time will begin once I select one player. So 3, 2, 1, go. And with that, we're off. So I'll be selecting Fixed Shot, and there's a reason why I'm actually playing as player 2 right now. For one, the Fixed Shot character is canonically known as Blue, while the Free Shot character is canonically known as Red, so I obviously like to go by lore accuracy here. But more importantly, too, there's just a very small menuing input save that you can do here, where you just plug the player 2 controller in, and it immediately starts you off with Fixed Shot, instead of starting by the free shot selection. So really that's just all it does. It's not the biggest deal. It's more of a preference if nothing else. But yeah, aside from that, we are starting things off at the most infamous of the stages. And man, I really do understand why our official Discord community is known as the Dice Palace support group, because alas, this stage has the worst kind of RNG that anyone can have, and that is a frame timer, one that you cannot manipulate. So really the only way to properly work that sort of situation out is by way of a task run, because at that point you are making sure that everything is as scripted as possible. So unfortunately the dice rolls themselves are uncontrollable in a human run, and it's for that reason that I have to be very able to adapt, especially for boss fights like the Minion Soldier here, because this guy can be very annoying. He's very simple to deal with if you just use your melee attacks on him just right, but if you get too close to him, he will toss you. And for a guy that tiny, it just does not check. This guy basically rolls nat 20s onto strength checks for all my Dungeons and Dragons fans. Shout out to all tabletop players out there, and my GMs, that too. Alright, so that was a quick little mini game. It's actually a very good space to get, because as you saw right there, I just totaled that break, the vehicle thingamajig, whatever, a la Street Fighter, with a simple melee kick. And yeah, it's one of the shortest things you can get. You also get a nice free little health out of this. Item rooms are also quick if I just happen to skip them like so. I'm using a very unorthodox combination right now, and it's because sadly the drops did not give me the thing that I wanted, but it's also a very good opportunity to showcase one of the lesser used elements of Gunstar's Heroes' gun that not even most runners will think to try. And unfortunately, before I even had the chance to explain the gun element system, we are doing the curry and rice fight, which is completely and strictly no gun. I have to use my melee attacks and my throws. So throws are just as damaging as melee attacks, if not way, way, way stronger. Okay, I gotta be very careful here, though, because I'm looking pretty low on health already. Once we clear the board and get to the main boss fight, things should be okay. Hopefully, anyway. All I know is that I'm very worried I'm going to get another wayback space, because the last time I ran Gunstar Heroes for an event, that's exactly what happened, and as you can imagine, it sends you all the way back to the beginning of the board. Super Gondola is... okay, that's tragic, because I don't have my properly equipped gun for this. But I honestly do think that this combination actually is potentially capable for this boss, given the multi-hit. It's just not fast. No, jeez. I did not want to fall in there. Oh, no! Okay, so now I'm gonna have to hope that I don't that the only thing I can do is either get to that item room or do the rest damageless, because any hit will kill me. Oh, no. What have I done to myself? This is already falling apart pretty badly. Okay, so we got to the boss room. But again, I have to do this hitless now. This will be interesting. The good news is that I can switch between elements on the press of a button, even by the pause screen, so... I'm gonna give myself a little bit of serious time, and let's see if we can pull this off. Oop. Okay, good. He doesn't do a repeat. Oh, okay. Alright, there's one more thing that I have to avoid, though. So that was the general known as Black, and he will try to toss a fake collectible right here, so just had to make sure I avoided that. That was clutch. That was actually not too bad of a dice palace, all things considered. That's incredible. I think that already puts me on a potential PB pace here, but we'll have to see for sure. Either way, we did make it out of there, and the good news is that every time you start a new stage, your health is back to normal, and this is the element combo that I actually wanted. So hang on, as the game is giving me a little bit of grief trying to swap them out. But yeah, so let's talk about the elemental system, because Gunstar Heroes' really nifty thing is that when you choose a starting element when you start the game, you also get to replace them and also combine them. So there are singular gun effects and there are double gun effects, and right now what I have is the Flame Chaser. Earlier I had the Flame Force, which is a rapid fire element, the Force element, and yeah, it's pretty good for like multiple hits at a fast velocity or whatever have you. And the fire element is especially good for close range because it's short. It has a short range, but it's very damaging. And the chaser element is your homing element, but combine these two together, and you are able to remotely control with your shot with the D-pad. And this is why the fixed character is actually very good for this combo, because the free shot character, you're able to move while you're holding the fire button down, but fixed shot character doesn't do that. It's kind of like Mega Man and Bass, if you've heard of that game, and it's what happens if you're playing as Bass himself. So yeah, that's my go-to comparison for this game. But yeah, there's also one other element, the lightning element, which is good for phasing past enemies and managing to damage them, and going past solids as well. The flame and lightning combo is known as the lightsaber by the community, and you might see why if I ever have to use it. But it's also pretty viable as a run as a run combination, so yeah. It's usually between Flame Chaser and Flame Lightning or Lightsaber that most pro runners typically go for with this game. So now we're going to fight Pink, the Bounty Hunter, and her two goons, Kotaro and Kane. Actually found something interesting earlier, that if you do manage to get atop the machine and you can do your special slide kick, then I think that deals just a bit more damage. So that's always nice. But not easy to get up there, I would say. So, you know, no big deal if you can't. And by now, you're noticing that we've already gone through half of the stages, but that does not mean much, because really, in total, this game only has 4 stages that you can choose from, and any order that you go in is perfectly fine. You're not getting any special weapons like in a Mega Man game, but the one thing you do get with each level you complete is 20 more maximum HP. So, I will have my HP total getting buffed for each stage clear I do, and there are 7 stages in total. So, it's with that where, as we go through the game, your your ability to take a hit gets better and better. Now this is the stage for green, and let's do a quick little lore dump here. So the game's plot differs a little bit depending on which manual localization you're reading, between English or Japanese. For all intents and purposes, though, I will go for the Japanese version, and we're taking things on Earth where a huge situation occurred by the development of a doomsday weapon called Gold and Silver. And by having caused a massive casualty among the population of the planet, the Gunstar heroes vengefully fight against Gold and Silver and manage to successfully defeat it with their special weapons before sealing it into the moon. Many years later, the Empire is now seeking to resurrect it, being led by one Emperor Grey, and now it's up to the newly reawakened Gunstar heroes, thanks to the defecting Professor Brown, that it's up to them to put a stop to them. Unfortunately, though, while Red and Blue are playable Gunstar heroes, Gunstar Green was also one of our comrades, and he has been brainwashed by the Empire, so we do have to fight him. He is also known to be the brother of Yellow, who is our supporting character that is seen right by Professor Brown in the stage select screen. So at this point, we have a train to take care of, and there's just a few cars left. We'll get to the boss after I take care of the main engine. At this point, I think we have a moment to read just one announcement or two, so go right ahead.
Well, I do want to remind people about the Donkey Kong 64 Bid Wars once again. Neither of those incentives, neither of those have been met, and time is starting to run short on when we can meet those. Also, for those of you who do want a list of treasure games other than this one, Dynamite Heady, Alien Soldier, Mischief Makers, Bangai-O, Sin and Punishment, Ikaruga, Wario World, Gradius 5, just to name a few.
I never knew that Treasure made Wario World. What rock have I been living under? And I've seen people run that game. That's ridiculous. Dynamite Heady is a given, though, yes. I totally forgot about that. And Ikaruga, who could forget that one? I also own Radiant Silver Gun, and yeah, there's a Guardian Heroes. That's another one that I own. So yeah, I should have known those. But Sin and Punishment is apparently the one that's made the biggest impression on me, because I did grow up with Star's successor for the Wii, so that always had a huge influence on me, if you will. But yeah, this is 7 Force, and this boss goes through 3 phases in the easy difficulty, 4 in the medium difficulty, I believe 5 potentially in hard, and then all 7 on expert. The RNG is dependent on what the game decides to give, but that RNG is also slightly controlled, because we do know that we have to start the fight with Soldier Force, and then it will move into a vertical columned boss room, to which there are 3 specific forms that work in that environment, and then we go back to a horizontal one. Preferably Blaster Force would have been nice to see, because there is a cool little spot that you can hide in and manage to do completely damageless. But aside from that, you know, that's all she wrote here. So, Eagle Force is one of my least preferred ones, but it wasn't too trolly as well. We managed to take care of it just fine. And, yeah, I also definitely want to agree with, SCX that we really want to meet those incentives for DK64. I'm always a man of incentives, and I always want to see those goals being met. So I say, chat, if you are more than willing to chip in at the very least, a minimum donation. I would challenge you to give me as many puns as you can, and whether they are groan-worthy or laugh-worthy, you'll know from my sense of humor, because I actually laugh at more puns than groan, and yet, I guess if you want to try me just to be absolutely certain that, go right ahead. If anything, my challenge to y'all is, let's pool those donations into the goal that is the closest to being completed. Which of those two would that be, by the way?
The incentive closest to being completed is the DK64 wrap, which is just under $50 away. And
I'm not surprised.
Also, the minimum donation through Tiltify is $1.
I think we can more than go ahead and do a $1 train, if not a $5 train. So, y'all, make sure that we try and get on that, if you can, of course. No shame if you can't, because I fully understand what it's like to be in a financial pickle sometimes. But aside from that, let's see what we can do about that, shall we? Because let's get that DK wrap. Everybody loves the DK wrap for all the right and wrong reasons. And that was the Yellow Phantom. So, yeah, unfortunately, that was not quite how I wanted to take him out, but it's only just a minor time loss at worst, because I still managed to have a pretty good fight. And so as the orange auto-scroller has come and gone, we are now trying to go through the ship. And I actually do want to hope that nothing botches, because that little section right there that I just went to cross onto the plane has a bit of an infamous glitch that not once has ever occurred to me, but it wastes time up the wazoo if it does happen. So we'll just have to see whether it does or doesn't. It's all dependent on the floating cycle that completes by the time that I cross a certain point of the level. Right now, I am going to give myself just a bit of serious time as we take on Orange, because I'm going to try and be danger close all about him, and all that jazz. Ooh, okay, that didn't quite work, but that's okay. They got plenty of health. Okay, that was a pretty good fight, actually. Nice. So now I'm also going to want to manage my falling, because you saw in the end of the black fight that I positioned my character a little specifically to ensure that he didn't have to move like that, and I was trying to do the same thing here. Not quite enough, but yeah, you can control your fall direction, even though it looks like that should be a cutscene, which is pretty silly, but acceptable. Okay, so welcome to the post-stage select gauntlet, and this is where you have to challenge yourself to really just not die at all, because this level, the highway, is infamous for having no checkpoints. So if I game over, I will have to start from the beginning. Just give me a second right here. I was a bit flaking out just a bit. So one thing I actually learned while practicing right now, or before this segment, is that apparently your jump can go just a little bit higher if you jump while holding up. And I never knew this until I actually took a peek at the current world record holder of any % easy, which is Aaron Games. So shout out to him, and thank you very much for enlightening me to that wonderful fact. Yeah, the Black Phantom fight, I also had a pretty fast one going as well, and I was very much lamenting that that luck should have been saved for the proper run itself. Oh, that's actually rare to do that box clip damageless. Normally, you have to take a bit of a damage boost in order to get up top, but yeah, I would all... You know, I I would almost say that's never happened before, but not even I know, because I've actually been speedrunning this game for a long time now, that really it's not the worst thing to get for the first time, if nothing else. I just feel a little more awakened by now that if, you know, really, I'll save that phrase for the jank, and we'll just pretend that I might have gave you a half saying of the thing. So yeah, we're coming up to the boss fight. This is where I'm very glad to have as much health as possible by this point, but these walkers are also a nuisance at times. Although I do want to give a shout out to No Glitches Allowed, where I did happen to have a very funny instance of one of them self-destructing as it walked onto the screen during No Holidays Allowed. That was a really, really good run, and I do want to give a shout out to my commentators for that, which was Xantomun, Shaddix, also known as Dagron, and Kranoon. They were very fun to do this with. So we're going into the Smash Daisaku fight, and this guy has been on our case for a while now, so it's time to properly dispose of him. Now I'm going to try and do a strat that I have not pulled before. We'll have to find out, though. Okay, so yeah, that's not quite it. Yeah. So I do want him to walk. Okay, now I'll revert to my current one. Normally I would try to constantly deal damage by throwing him, but if I manage to micro-kick just fine, it should deal actual damage to him way better than what the throwing pattern would. So, yeah, this was also something that I discovered by watching the world record runner of this as well. But the catch-22, of course, being that, like with most throw damage you take, it will zap 20 HP. Luckily, we did manage to take care of Smash Daisaku quite fine, and now we're going to be going into a pretty long cutscene, so XCX, you have quite a bit of time to get things going, because right after this as well, we will be going into a spaceship auto-scroller level.
Awesome. Well, we do have a couple of donations. There was a $5 anonymous donation saying, $5 train, let's go Tempest, and let's get our DK64 runners singing this rap. And we also have a $3 donation from Alara saying, pun donation challenge for DK rap? That is bananas. I feel like you are not I feel like you are not ready for the monkeying around that will happen. And you know, I'm really starting to see the pros and cons of laying this challenge out.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there. Don't think you let that one slip right under my nose. Thank you, Alara, by the way. That's a very good friend of mine who I've had the absolute pleasure of seeing at a couple of in-person GDQs. So yeah, very, very wonderful shout-out to you. I'm a very wonderful person. And thank you, Anonymous, as well. Appreciate it. Yeah, $8 off to a good start. Only, say, $42 left. I think we've made just a bit more headway now. And we've definitely got plenty more time for more donations to be read as well, because welcome to what is probably the worst time sink that you can have upon gaming over. This is the spaceship level, and yeah, we've got a whole entire genre shift, because apparently Treasure likes doing that sometimes, as much as they like doing auto-scrollers. But, what can you do? Really, I just got to avoid taking a death in this entire level. And, yeah, nah, like, once we get inside the flagship of the Empire, we'll be good to go. At this point, though, I do have to avoid trying to, like, take continuous damage at this point. So here's Timeron again. We actually saw this fella over at the Dice Palace, but it's a much different sort of thing in that it was a survival minigame, and the longer you lasted against it, the bigger of a score bonus you got. But really, we're speedrunning, we're not supposed to do that, and the only exception anyone would make would probably be the mythical 100% run that the community likes to joke about, where the idea is that you have to get the secret developer message should you manage to survive Timeron here for 1 hour. Apparently. I'm shocked. that somebody would have even come up with something like that for a very minor secret, as just like, I don't think it's all that huge anyway. I've never seen it before, because obviously I would have never had the guts to try and survive such a thing for that long. But I do hear that the bullet patterns get much more intense. Of course, that's not the only condition for the mythical 100% run. The other one being you have to go through all the spaces on the Dice Palace board. All of them. In a stage where your dice rolls are random. Oh, man. I do want to pull it off one of these days, but I can safely assure you that I don't think that's ever something we can properly make a leaderboard category for that's worthy of a marathon showing, just by how out of our hands that sort of thing is. Yeah. At this point, we're just trying to survive some more stuff. We'll also have a 100mm cannon mini-boss to go through. I'll be trying to use my Flame Chaser for that, if not my main fire solo. And, yeah. The benefit of trying to select your element at the character select screen, or the intro screen of the game, is that if you do happen to game over, you will automatically start with that element that you've chosen. So, if I were to die at any given point during this run, I would still have the fire element, and I would just need to try and recollect the other one that I would hope to use anyhow. We'll come up to that mini-boss very shortly. And then soon afterward will be a big portion of that stage where, if you are not too careful, you can lose all of your health from those. You saw a couple of green missiles. We're gonna see some silver-blue missiles coming up soon, and those start to really pack a bunch of bullets, much that if you take a hit, if you like run into them or destroy them, you can just take multiple non-iframe hits, and it could be enough to just completely make your health vanish. It's the biggest run killer. It is the biggest tease that this game could ever have to deal with. So I gotta be very mindful of that. But afterward, we will have a refight with 7 Force, and it will show off all 7 forms, or try to, because it literally integrates it into its moveset. And so, for that fight, I want to hopefully try to kill it to the leftmost side of the screen as possible, because then that allows the boss to vanish sooner. I am losing some health pretty badly, though. I'm going to be just careful enough, because we're also coming up to those missiles I just mentioned before. There we go. Okay. That's not the bad ones yet. This is the bad one. And luckily we just neutralized it, because one nice benefit is that the Flame Chaser has the ability to erase basic bullets. Alright, here we go. So, 101 health is not a bad thing. What is a bad thing is that some of these forms will cause the screen to lag, Eagle Force especially. So, I want to see that as least as much as possible. But, SCX, I think this is a good time to say any announcements, if you will.
I can announce that the Twitch chat is also starting to fill with puns.
Oh, I'm aware. I am aware.
But to give an update on some of the bid wars and incentives, the DK wrap now needs $41.57, so we are slowly but surely making progress on that. Also, the Dicey Dungeons character bid war has heated up a little bit, with the Witch currently in second at $3 and the Thief currently in the lead at $5.
Dicey Dungeons. How ironic that I play a game that starts in a dice palace and then later in the day we have Dicey Dungeons being run. Which is a great game, by the way. I always like seeing just the very charming art style of it. very, very charming game. So we are now going against the Guardian units of the ship's core, or the ship's engine, rather. I took care of the unit of the hammer, and luckily it did not decide to do a sweeping attack that takes the longest amount of time. And then that was unit of the dragon. That one could be a bit of a nuisance to take care of, just by way of trying to damage it just right enough. But now we've got the unit of the runner, and there's not really much to write home about this guy. I just want to not take too much damage. You see me trying to give him a jump kick like so. And yeah, that was a very good fight, actually. Whoa. Whoa, that was fast. There is an extra little phase in this mini gauntlet of sorts that happens in between the unit of the dragon and the runner. That involves these like drones that try to come crashing into you, but that's on the higher difficulties, of course. So welcome to the final level. We are now going through a bit of a boss rush, except we're starting things off against the Duck Battalion mech, and Kotaro and Kane are both piloting this. Just jumped onto this mech, did a bunch of slide kicks. Actually, as I'm fighting one of the goons, taking care of him while he's trying to use one of the Vulcan arms against me, but it's no use, in the words of Silver the Hedgehog. Yeah, let's talk about those slide kicks, because we actually got a couple versions of them. So this right here that I was just demonstrating right there, that is the basic slide kick. But if you do a half turn forward with your D-pad, that causes the character to do this kind of slide kick right here, or rather a slide tackle, I should say. It's a really cool move that actually is good for like dealing some nifty damage at a slightly higher hitbox. I don't think the difference in how much damage it deals is massive, but it is still a pretty useful trick, as you just saw right there. And that was the refight against Pink. She is blasting off one more time, and now we're going to have our refight with Orange. And this is where you can lose time to a rather unfortunate rate. I'm going to try and get as much health as I possibly can, because that was the one right there. His fight is largely unchanged, except for his new moves. And it's also not being done in an airplane, so, you know what, I take those words back. I'm just gonna give myself a bit of serious time. And folks, remember to get your donation train donations in pretty please. I do want to hear just a few more puns, but we do not have much time left in the game, so any donation amounts are perfectly valid for me. Of course, whatever you have to give, I very much appreciate it, as we are raising money for Real Hope. Oh, jeez. I just realized I am low. Okay, now I have to play this carefully. Otherwise, he could still hit me. Oh, no. I think I'm in danger. Oh! Oh, we're not out of the woods yet, though. I still have to take care of a couple of turrets. So just give me a moment right here as I take evasive maneuvers of sorts. Okay. Okay! I'm going to attempt the quick kill here. I haven't really been getting it in a while, though. Yeah, not the easiest to get these days. I don't know why it is, but yeah, no, if you do get it right, you have to position yourself on the edge of the platform and start doing jump kicks to the black fly, in which that'll just eventually... Whoa! No! No, 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 no. That's bad. Okay. No, that's actually bad. That's not good. Oh! I think I'm gonna die at some point. I don't think I'm gonna survive Ava. I mean, I will be able to handle green if I can just not mess this up. And then aside from that, yeah. I just hope that this is not one of those... Okay, good. So, luckily the Green Reeve fight is as simple as you just try to fight him like man versus man and stuff. He's still sadly brainwashed, but you can just get him in this quick stun lock right here. Do I even pull my Throw of Disrespect? I wonder. Nah, you know what? It's probably for the better that I don't. Keep it safe here. But I will do this. Alright, in we go. Now, we're going to go ahead and just prepare for our final boss fight. The first phase will be against Emperor Grey, who will power himself up with the gems, and it's already over. Psych, you don't fight him at all. This guy gets dunked on, and even in the Game Boy Advance sequel called Super Gunstar Heroes, he is never a threat. Alright. I do get a little bit of HP here, but this is all going to depend on whether gold and silver, whether the first move is the one that I can't avoid. We'll have to see. But this entire boss fight is going to be me hitting those gems that we've been collecting. Because that is the weak point. This guy cannot be taken out by conventional means, and this is the move I want to see him open up with. This is very good. Now I gotta be extra mindful of the gems that will start to attack me. We got it! We are through the final boss right there. Now we're sadly gonna have to say goodbye to the gems because those things are going to shatter like glass. But time will be once the screen fades out after this last interaction, post-fight. And I do want to say thank you very much for having me again for 2 games this schedule here. This was absolutely wonderful. And time! That's a wrap, folks. So yeah, this is Gunstar Heroes, and this game had quite a few ports to its name. Sadly, Sega did take down some of them. I do recall the PC port being one of those, which it was very cheap to get on Steam. Aside from that, we do have the mobile port as well, which, although I think that may have also been delisted, I'm not entirely sure, but if you did manage to get your hands on it, that was for free. Of course, as I said earlier, the community is very accepting of emulated runs as well, so no shame in that if you do wish to get into this speedrun. And to all those that run on original hardware, shoutouts to you, because honestly, the Genesis Mini is just a nice way to connect with Gunstar Heroes, being that it gives you a really cool replica of the controller. So, with that being said, thanks once more to Running for Reals for having me, and of course, if you wish to follow me, my name is TempestMask1000 here on Twitch. You can also find me on my YouTube channel under the same name. I do have social medias. I go by @It'sTempestSteve on Twitter. I have TempestMask on Blue Sky, and you can also check out my Instagram @DJ_Steve_C. I don't stream a whole lot. I am mostly a hobby speedrunner, but I do try to also do some fun things with friends from time to time. Aside from that, I am trying to become a voice actor, so that is where most of my priorities lie, aside from my part-time job of media working as well. So, thank you. Yeah, once more, just thanks for checking this out. If we do have some final announcements or puns to read, go right ahead. Aside from that, that's going to do it for me. So, until we next meet, ciao, Michi.